Politicsx emergency mailbag. We're not. This is a bad intro to the show. We're not doing the full show because we're going to run the live show from DragonCon, but there's so much news happening that we're going to have a little mailbag show. It's brought to you, as always, by people who support us. TakePoliticsSeriously.com. Also, my free political newsletter at freepoliticalnewsletter.com. Go sign up for that right now. But let's go ahead and begin. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Like I said before, just too much news. I was planning on taking this week off. I'm not even going to lie to you. This was a opportunity for me to repurpose the DragonCon show that we did, but holy shit, the news just doesn't stop. I was even thinking yesterday, I did a bonus show yesterday when the Woodward book dropped, and I'm like, all right, that might cover us. God damn it. It didn't even come close. So I got some great emails. We got a lot of stuff that's happening right now. But, of course, as always, we start with Alex Jones pestering Marco Rubio. Two moments in this exchange. Marco Rubio, if you are listening only on audio, was trying to answer questions in a scrum. Alex Jones was doing literally his own show. He was streaming on Periscope, and so he's just doing his own commentary while people are trying to ask questions of Marco Rubio. Two moments that really delighted me. Here is the first.
Sure, and they demonized me in these very hearings, and then he plays dumb.
Here's the question.
Infowars.com, you know what it is.
Does Google, does Facebook, does
That's
Twitter,
why you
do they
didn't get
need to be
elected.
regulated like do they need to be regulated?
Marco Rubio the snake.
This
frat boy here.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Who are you, man?
Yeah,
Who's
sure.
this guy? I swear to God, I don't
You
know
better
who
hope
you
you
are,
can
man.
deplatform me. Tens of millions of views.
Infowars.
Better than Rush Limbaugh.
There we go. We got to it. We got to Alex Jones flexing his own penis and saying that he's bigger than who? Bigger than who? Yeah, that's right. I came for your crown, dog. Come at the king, you best not miss. Snardly. You have my krill oil, Snardly. All right, here's the other thing that really delighted me about this exchange between Marco Rubio and Alex Jones. It's here at the end. Marco Rubio is sick of Alex Jones pestering him, and so he's going to walk away.
Ready.
Exactly.
You guys can talk to this clown.
Oh, yeah. Look at this little frat boy. So cool. Go back to your bathhouse.
There we go. Alex Jones going to the Marco Rubio is gay well. The idea that Alex Jones would go after a conservative Republican is really not much of a shock. I wouldn't be surprised if Marco Rubio becomes the new John McCain. Like the Republican that literally nobody likes. Republicans don't really like him. Democrats don't. The Democrats fucking hate him. Like, I think this is the reason why Marco Rubio wanted to get a job with the Dolphins. Marco Rubio, as soon as he left the presidential race, was like, dude, all I want to do is wonder about how we can solidify our quarterback position past Ryan Tannehill. and then his Senate seat was up for grabs, and that was it. He had to get back. And now he has to get pestered by Alex Jones. There is zero chance that Marco Rubio doesn't know exactly who the fuck Alex Jones is, by the way. But we can leave that there. All right, a lot of stuff going on in the news. We talked about the Woodward book yesterday. I was made to look like an idiot not but minutes after I published, or before I published the Free Political newsletter last night, because I wrote in the Free Political newsletter that I would not be shocked if the initial pushback by the Trump administration was going to be the last we heard of them on the Woodward book. I'm a big, fat, hairy idiot. And they've continued to hammer on the Woodward book. I thought it was a sign when Sarah Huckabee Sanders says that the stories that Bob Woodward has are from sources that are disreputable, and that obviously Donald Trump is unconventional, but he gets results. That was them saying, sure, it's true, but you're missing the point. But that has not been the case. We have now gotten into full Bob Woodward is making stuff up territory. It will be curious to see whether or not Bob Woodward is going to be drawn into a credibility fight against Donald Trump. A credibility fight for which, by the way, Donald Trump was fully on the side of Bob Woodward when he was releasing books that were critical about the Obama administration and how they handled the tax situation and Obamacare. But now he just makes things up and everything's timed for the midterm elections. So I don't know how much more there is that I didn't say in the special episode yesterday, today on the Woodward book, except that it does seem like Chief of Staff John Kelly will keep his job, because now Chief of Staff John Kelly is out here saying, it wasn't me. But you said he was an idiot. It wasn't me. Said this shit was crazy town. It wasn't me. We even have you on tape. It wasn't me. He's gone full Shaggy. So whether or not, I mean, Bob Woodward is a journalist. Journalists tend to record a lot of stuff. They do. They tend to record a lot. So whether or not we wind up getting full tapes of what some of these guys said to Bob Woodward kind of remains to be seen. But it'll be very interesting if they do. I'll tell you what, it'll be pretty interesting if we see Woodward try to pull out the receipts. The other two stories that happened today that we did not talk about during the special episode yesterday. Number one, the Kavanaugh hearings. Let me be clear here. And this is what I have said about these Kavanaugh hearings from the very beginning. And by the way, this is why you come to this show. Because no one's going to explain it to you like this, which is indeed the reality. What you are watching right now is a circus. It is a food fight. It is an absolute shit show. Why is it an absolute shit show? Why is it a food fight? Why is it a circus? Well, I'll tell you, friends. It's a shit show, crazy-ass circus, because it's literally the only way that Kavanaugh won't be seated on the Supreme Court post-haste. The Democrats do not have enough votes to stop it. That's that. They don't. They need to make this a gigantic public embarrassment, and then they need to try to peel off shy Republicans who might push this at the very least toward after the midterms. That's pretty much it. All right. Well, now we have, I'm going to pause the recording. YouTube, congratulations. you are going to see through all this. It shows me still streaming. Yeah, I don't know what that was about because it was still fine on my end. I never even got a stutter. All right, so let's go ahead and roll this back. Push this at the very least toward after the midterms. All right. Yeah, it seems like a Twitch hiccup. All right. I don't know why it's not letting me delete that. Okay, there we go. All right. YouTube, you get to keep the whole thing. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. So the report from Politico yesterday was that the Democrats considered staging a walkout. They opted against it. And there were protests throughout the entire thing. There was a confrontation by a Parkland father who went up to go shake Kavanaugh's hand. Kavanaugh looked at him and then ran away scared. And then a bizarre thing. Guys, if you're listening to this show, please don't be the people are freaking out about the OK sign thing. Like, it's a 4chan hoax. I don't care if white supremacists then picked up on it. White supremacists also love American History X. It started as an internet thing. People are doing it to trigger the libs. Don't be the lib who gets triggered. Please. Come on. Come on. It's on Snopes. This is how we decide things. It's on Snopes. Now, the Parkland father, look, I have nothing but sympathy for the Parkland father, but that was a political stunt. That was not the place where you go to meet that person. I mean, even trying to do it in the hallway would be something that at least wasn't literally staged in a place with every photographer in Washington, D.C. sat with their lenses pointed exactly at you. That was a made-for-television moment. And Kavanaugh, to his, to understand his point of view, literally, he just needs to not fuck up. This is Kavanaugh. Congratulations, sir. You win if you don't say or do something that makes you so toxic that nobody can get near you. So the idea that somebody would just, he looked at that dude's hand and was like, I don't know if this is something that doesn't make my lifelong dream come true. And so he ran away like a scalded dog. And I don't know exactly how many people would do something different. As for the protesters, man, they're going to protest. Again, this is literally the only way that the Democrats can get this any kind of win. And really, they're not even looking for a win. They're looking to keep fouling off pitches until after the midterms. So they have to make it a gigantic thing and say, oh my God, wouldn't it be better if we just did this again? Defenseless Baby said, no, that was a bad cold shoulder. Give that dude the courtesy. I mean, yeah, in hindsight, yes, from our perspective, I'm telling you to put yourself in that guy's brain, right? Regardless of what you think about him. In fact, let's make this a science fiction scenario. This is not about Brett Kavanaugh, the Republican that would be the second Trump Supreme Court pick. This isn't about Russia. This isn't about all this other stuff. Science fiction scenario. This is about Senator Gleepglom, who is looking to get appointed to the Galactic Council of Elders, and all that Senator Gleepglom has to do is not say something or do something that would embarrass the rest of the senators. And somebody comes up, and you can hear what he's saying, and then sticks his hand out to shake his hand. Now, you don't know who this person is. You don't know where they came from. You don't know if they're telling the truth. You don't know if you know what they're doing. Literally, you now have to make a decision. Do I shake that person's hand? Do I trust that they are who they have said they are, considering the fact that there have been protests that have disrupted everything for the past several hours, right? Do I know that he's not going to grab my hand and throw glitter in my face? You don't. You're Senator Gleepglom. The only way to win is not to play. And so he walked away. Is it a shitty thing? Is the context to it bad? 100%. But the context to it was never going to be good for him at all. So I don't blame Senator Gleepglom. Definitely not an allegory for Brett Kavanaugh. I don't blame Senator Gleepglom for walking away. Like, he's going to have to eat shit for it. But there is no guarantee that he wasn't going to have to eat more shit that this time he'd be complicit with if he shook the dude's hand. That's my point. Reverend Bug says, I don't like Senator Gleepglom. Now Gleepglorp of Space Utah's got some mighty fine ideas. So there we go. All right. That's Brett Kavanaugh. There's hearings about Google and Facebook and Twitter, and Google and Twitter didn't send their CEOs. I mean, man, all these are just like wastes of time, to be brutally honest with you. We are well into the silly season. This was my favorite thing that this is one of my favorite things that Barack Obama ever said. The silly season. Oh, number one, it's my favorite season. But after Labor Day is traditionally when campaigns really start. We are well into campaigns. The most funny part of this again was the most funny part of those hearings. Here we go. Again, one more time. This is Alex Jones yelling at Marco Rubio as he walks away.
During the hearing.
Yeah, man, I gotta go to the committee.
Exactly.
You guys can talk to this clown.
Oh, yeah. Look, it's a little frat boy. So cool. Go back to your bathhouse.
Also, by the way, come on, Alex. You know you could have got that bathhouse line off when he was still there. You know that if you had some more alpha male testosterone supplements, you could have gotten out that bathhouse line right to his face. That's what you really want. That's what you really want. All right. Let's go ahead and get into some emails. This one comes in from Doug. It's weird how black lives only seem to matter right before a presidential election. The email was entitled Media Ignoring Police Violence Against Blacks. I don't quite know where this is coming from, Doug. It seems like police brutality still is a issue. I don't know if there is a specific incident that you think needed to be covered more, but please feel free to write back in theyoungamerican@gmail.com. Mark, who was live at our DragonCon show, wrote in an answer to our question, what you expect from the other side. What I expect from the other side is a willingness to work together on areas of agreement, namely infrastructure. I also expect a willingness to genuinely engage on areas of disagreement. I do not expect civility, deference, equal party rule, universal agreement, or utopia. I purposely did not put my affiliation as I think that they should apply to both major parties. P.S. Thank you for putting on a great Dragon Con PX3 and showing some love for the ATL. Hope you come back soon. I'll be back, Mark. Don't worry. Randy writes, learning to appreciate politics for politics' sake, a la jury. Dearest Mr. Young, the upcoming midterms have very big implications, and like anyone who leans in either political direction, I have a vested interest in the outcome of the Senate races. But with you as my guiding star, I have found that I am able to enjoy the sheer majesty of the Texas Beto Teto race, even if the outcome would end up differently than I would have wanted. There's something beautiful about the fact that this race features a young Latino man against a middle-aged white guy, and nearly everyone seems to view Beto, a.k.a. Robert effing Francis, literally the whitest name in the history of white people, O'Rourke, as the former, and Ted, son of $100 sewn into his underwear, Rafael Bienvenido Cruz y Diaz, as the latter. Get that umbrella off my grassy knoll, Randy from Oklahoma. It is pretty great. And the fact that Beto speaks better Spanish than Ted does is also really funny. What the fuck is Ted doing? Somebody in the Ted Cruz campaign loves Beto. They love him. All they want to do is make him seem like the coolest dude on the planet. Oh, do you know that Beto was in a band? Oh, he played punk music in a band. Did you know? Did you hear? Did you hear? Did you hear? Oh, did you hear that Beto curses? Potential Texas voters. Did you know that Beto O'Rourke uses the F word? Oh my God. This guy's unhinged. He swears like a bad boy. If you listen to this and then you listen to the live show, you will hear that my strategy for Ted Cruz, you can steal this, Ted. Don't worry. This is gratis. This is free, baby. Looking out for you, Ted Word. New strategy. What election? There's an election? I didn't even know there was. Are you sure it's not next year? I think it might be next year. Let me look at my phone, and then you look in your phone until everybody leaves you alone. Like, just imagine that there's not an election. Openly question whether or not there's an election. Because all you have to do is not say his name, and he will probably go away. If everybody votes in Texas, you will have more Republicans than there are Democrats. That's just the way it is. The only way that Beto wins is if you keep playing into what is called in the wrestling industries a bump and feed. You are just keep coming back and letting them clothesline you, and that's it. Sean writes, if Hillary was a kingmaker for Obama and Trump, was McCain a kingmaker for Bush and Obama? I would say more for Bush than Obama. Because I would think of Hillary. Hillary was the prove it win for both Obama and Trump. Like, Obama was untested. He was kind of like a term away from being a term away to be president. And then he beat Hillary, and then all of a sudden he was inevitable. Trump was never going to be president, and then he beats Hillary, and he's president. And Bush was on the ropes as a favorite, and then he beat McCain. So I can see it a little bit. He was like, McCain was the lesser known college that tests Alabama a little bit too much, right? McCain was kind of was Texas A&M with Manziel. That's who John McCain was. Bush was always Alabama. He had the money, he had the name, he had the experience. He was almost always thought to be the favorite in that race. McCain just pushed him further than anybody thought. I don't think that McCain was really a kingmaker to Obama, though, because Obama had led for most of that race. I think the only time that McCain really led was like immediately after he named Palin. And then, Palin happened. Clay writes, I just read Game of Thrones for the first time, and you mentioned that Cruz needed to get Trump support. If Cruz admits his treason publicly, will our own King Joffrey call for his head anyway? Thanks for the podcast. There is a non-zero chance that Donald Trump fucking cuts the nuts off Ted Cruz on stage during a Ted Cruz rally. There is a non-zero chance that Donald Trump gets up on stage with Ted Cruz for a Ted Cruz rally and says, hey, I'm going to actually say that people should vote for you. Is that so hard, Ted? And then he'll do one of those, I'm joking. In fact, if you could put money on it, I would put long odd money on that happening. So I don't think he's going to absolutely eviscerate him, but I think there's a non-zero chance that he would emasculate him. Rec sent me a link. Chad writes, hey, jury. While I know it probably won't happen, what are your thoughts on term limits for Congress people? You mentioned that their only real goal is to be reelected, and it got me thinking. What difference would it be if they knew that wasn't an option? Would they be more daring or more apathetic? I would say if only given those two options, you would probably say that they would be more daring. People tend to be more daring when they don't face an election. Now, the other side of that is whether or not you would see, I think you just see a lot more Congress people going to the Senate and vice versa. Because the question would be whether or not you could consistently run. Because I think even if you were allowed to reset your eligibility by sitting out 2 terms or something like that, I think it would make things more interesting. I'm for term limits. Because also it would necessitate more people running. And it would make it more of a possibility that anybody could make it to the Senate. All right. Finally, Karen. Hey, Justin. I love the ketchup packet coverage a few weeks ago. Lucky for Beto, looking like Whataburger is actually an advantage in Texas. As a Texan, of course, I'm hearing tons of hype about Beto on social media and in real life, but I'm skeptical as to what his chances are. No matter what the polls say, I went to a Beto town hall a couple weeks ago, and the place was packed, full of energy. Driving around town, I see those ketchup packet signs everywhere, and nothing at all for Cruz. And this is in Waco, smack in the middle of what my friends call the buckle of the Bible Belt. But to me, it feels like the hype might be too much too soon. I don't think the Republicans have started trying yet, and when they do, there's a lot of power they can wake up. I'm afraid that no matter how much Beto and his grassroots team have tried, that come Election Day, the current silent majority of the Republican conservative Texas will effortlessly run over him. In 2016, I heard so much anti-Trump sentiment, even from conservatives, and almost no one vocally supported him. But on Election Day, the Dems never had a chance because it's Texas. Admittedly, there's not a decades-long history of hatred for Beto like there was for Hillary, but plenty of Texans have a knee-jerk reaction to anything that smells Democratic. I think those who ultimately vote for Cruz will do so with less enthusiasm. But there will be so many of them that it will be no matter that Beto supporters are much more active. Thank you for your show, Justin. As an expectant mom and a private Christian middle school teacher, I imagine I don't represent the most typical demo of your listenership. My husband introduced me to your show around the election in 2016, but as a moderate frustrated with both parties, I really agree with the show on some nonpartisan sense of humor to help remind me how farcical politics can be and to keep me from getting too angry at everything. Thank you so much, Karen. Now, just to let everybody know, like, yes, Waco is Waco, and to be very clear, my only firsthand knowledge of Waco is stopping at a gas station when I'm driving between Dallas and Austin. However, it is the home of Baylor, which might not be, Smith College for women, right? But it is still a college town. I once drove by Baylor with my radio on. I was just searching for radio signals, and I heard one of what I assumed to be the college radio station playing Ain't No Fun by Snoop Dogg and Nate Dogg, which, maybe before you have the kid, go ahead and Google that one so you can hear the lyrics. So I would say that any college town is probably going to have an overrepresentation of the Beto stuff than other places. So I don't even know where you live in Waco. Maybe where you live is literally the most Bible Belty of Bible Belty kind of places. But I agree with you. I think that it is remarkable that Beto is running as close as he is. And nobody should get too excited. The smart money, like at the end of the day, if John Cena's wrestling for the title, he's probably going to win. If a Republican is running in Texas, they're probably going to win. It's just that simple. Now, there are changing demographics. But I think Ted Cruz is somebody that will likely win. Now, if he is upset, it will make it that much bigger of an upset. And I think Beto is doing about as well as he can. And we are in a situation now where there's going to be an overrepresentation of blue team support. Just because of where we are in the grand 10-year election cycle. This is when the Democrats should historically surge. Whether or not that surge can take out one of the most name-recognizably famous Republican senators in his home state where he's won a couple times, that will be a whole nother story. Should I play this? All right, I'm going to play this just to send us out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how we're going to send you away. We do the pole dance on the live show. We do a brand new segment called ImprovWars.com on the live show. Hopefully you guys will dig it. But this was sent to me. I forget who. By the way, please go ahead and keep sending your emails. theyoungamerican@gmail.com. This is what we're going to go out on. Kyle Green is the name of this politician. And here is his campaign ad.
Hi, I'm your neighbor Kyle Green. I'm running for District 18A State Representative. I'm not asking for you to vote for me as your leader. I'm asking for you to vote for me as your public servant. The primary duty of a state representative is to protect all the rights of his constituents. I want to be your state representative, I want to be your public servant, and I want to be your nigger.
Your that wasn't, was that a, that was that what I, no let me just replay that. Hold on.
Your state representative, I want to be your public servant, and I want to be your nigger. Your public servant, and I want to be your nigger.
What? Wait, let's do that. Oh, now. Oh, jeez. Oh, no. Oh.
Public servant, and I want to be your nigger.
Hey, a reminder, please take politics seriously.com.
Politics.
All right, Live show. Live show also coming into your feed. I'll see you guys later. Some shows talk about politics. Others talk about politics. I heard one the other day that talked about politics. This is the only one that talks about all three. See you next week.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program. Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.